My wife and her bike lay twisted and broken on the side of a hot Texas highway as the hit-and-run driver sped off. Today, I want to share with you how everything that I teach was tested in tragedy and how what I learned will help you thrive in any circumstance.
Welcome to No Bow Tie, where we conquer emptiness and frustration, discover our uniqueness, and live with unrelenting joy. I'm John No Bow Tie Swoboda, musician and author.
It happened in April of 2021. My wife, Myra, laid in a hospital bed with a broken femur in two places, a possible broken wrist, cuts and bruises and scrapes all over her body. She could not walk. And she could hardly revisit the trauma of the event that put her in that hospital. Let me tell you how it started, a perfectly beautiful bike ride. It started out the easiest way, but ended up in one of the greatest nightmares. But we overcame some of the obstacles in it, and we would like to share with you the strength that we found and believe that you have. The three of us, my mom, Myra, and myself, we're headed out on a bike ride on the back roads in Texas where the roads are flat, they're easy to ride and talk, and we like to have conversations. It was a beautiful day. The birds were singing, the clouds were in the air, and there was no breeze whatsoever. We were going to do a 20-mile loop, and we got about almost halfway into it when Myra, she realized that her knees were hurting quite a bit, and she didn't want to do the whole loop. So she let us know she was going to turn back and just meet us back at the house for lunch. And we'd finish it out and, chat the whole way and enjoy some time together. She turned and went back. No biggie. And just as we separated, just a few minutes later, a car came speeding by us and just about pushed us off of the road. And I made some kind of a joke about how they'll give anybody a driver's license back here, that kind of a thing. Well, we went on chit-chatting, talking, and it wasn't 5 minutes later that the cell phone rang. And my mom picked up hers, and she was shocked. She gasped. And she said, "Oh, my God, we will be right there." She looked at me, and she said, "Myra has been hit by a car." It felt surreal. We turned around and headed back, and I was huffing and puffing on that bike, giving it my all to just see where she was on the road. It couldn't have been far. We just saw her. My mom, she went speeding by me because she had an e-bike. She went much faster, and she got back there first. I came around the corner to see my mom on her knees helping Myra, almost pushed into the ditch with her bike piled on top of her. It was a sight that I could hardly bear to see. I kept pedaling until we got there, and by then, another driver had stopped to help out. While she was regaining her balance and just sitting on the ground and trying to get the blur out of her mind, she told us what she thought happened, that the driver came and sideswiped her, but then fishtailed and went down into the ditch, jumped over the median, spun the tires through dirt in the air, and screeched on the pavement as the driver pulled away, leaving her to have to deal with on her own, not even knowing if she was alive. That driver almost took her life. An ambulance came and got her to the emergency room, where they found out that she had a broken femur in two places, and her wrist, while it was strained and probably sprained, it was not broken that they could tell. She couldn't walk, she couldn't get up, and we had a challenge. When we were going to get out of that hospital the next day, we had to get her from Waco, Texas to Lawrence, Kansas in a vehicle safely. We knew that the main factor in getting her there was going to be our attitudes, believe it or not, because we couldn't change what had happened in the past. And we knew that the femur was in place. We just needed to make sure that she did not fall again and that we kept our spirits up along the way so as to make the ride bearable. It was an 11-hour ride on that highway. She was in pain. we got there and we both broke into laughter when we realized that we had to ascend a flight of stairs to make it to our front door. Now, why did we laugh? Because it could not have been more ridiculous. We felt safe getting home. We thought the nightmare was over, that feeling you get in your heart when you're in your own space and your surroundings. We slowly, it must have taken us 45 minutes to get her up 6 stairs to get in the back door. When we did, we planted a chair evenly spaced from the refrigerator, the bathroom, and the bed. Our second belly laugh was when we put the dog in her lap, and the dog seemed more comfortable there than anywhere in the house. And she realized that as long as she didn't move, she wouldn't have any pain. And because we love each other and we saw that the future was going to be about healing, we went ahead and accepted the situation, controlled what we could, and let go of what we couldn't. And I'll tell you, the thing that we let go of the most was the pain in our heart of that hit and run driver leaving her on the shoulder of that road. We had to let that go because it would only be poison into her heart, and I believe it would have stopped the healing from happening as quick as it would with a positive attitude. I posted on a social media stand what had happened to Myra, and I asked everybody, please, to not have any hate toward this driver. All we wanted was an apology and an insurance card. As a couple of days went by, we pulled the bed so it was in a better position in the house. And while she was having a rough time getting some sleep, we were able to spend time together. We made the best of it, different sources of entertainment and ways that we got through the day. And eventually she learned that she could play her bass sitting down, so we rehearsed. And then we found the greatest advent to the whole thing was the wheelchair. I went out and got a wheelchair, and when we came back, we didn't put her in that wheelchair and wheel around the house. No, we put her in the wheelchair, got out to the car, got in the car, got out of the 4 walls that were surrounding her, and we went to the park, and we wheeled that wheelchair out with a lunch in tow in a cooler, and we sat out looking at the lake, looking at the birds, letting the clouds go by, and we just spent time enjoying life. We could not believe how fortunate we were. We still had the darkened reality that she could not walk, that her femur was broken, and it was going to take 6 to 8 weeks to heal. But in the meantime, we could not control that. We could feed that the healing process would take its course by not letting her fall. And we could take care of ourselves and keep our moods up, keep our spirits up. But we could not take away the situation. I tell the story because so often what is in the past is the burden that keeps you from moving forward into the future. Looking back, I'd say it was one of the better things, one of the better lessons that we ever learned. No, it was not one of the better things that happened. It was one of the better lessons that we ever learned. And we had to go through that tragedy to place value on that. You can avoid your own tragedy. You can avoid the hardship of life and know that the lessons are there. The lessons of gratitude, the lessons of balance, of keeping yourself afloat, keeping perspective on what you can and can't control, and taking action on what you can control to make a better life tomorrow. Our main focus all of the time, every single moment, was what would make it better next? What would make life better tomorrow? Eventually, we returned the wheelchair, and she did get a cane after the walker, and we got back to some sense of normalcy. And during that time, we felt so good that we built our relationship. We kept our visions of the future positive. We didn't let anything burden us down, even the money. Even when we realized we had a debt to pay on this, we probably won't be able to pay back in our lifetime. Even with that, we had to accept there were some things that we could not change, but we had the strength. We had the strength to take action and move forward to make tomorrow better. Do you hear a common theme in this? Do not act on your goals because you have to finish them today. Act on your vision that makes a better tomorrow. I am delighted to tell you that next week we have the audiobook coming out that contains all of the principles and all of the values that we had to use during that time to delight ourselves in life instead of be held back by life. It is called How to Be Unique, Just Like Everybody Else. You can get your copy by going to nobowtie.com/new today. I can't wait to share this with you and show you that when you employ these ideas in your life, which are just principles, they're just principles of life, when you employ them and get them to work for you, you will not be able to change anything of the past, but you will be able to change and shape your future. I'm also happy to tell you that the next show will be the first one of year number 2 for the No Bow Tie Show. It has been a great year. The responses and the feedback that I have gotten have told me that we're all in this together and we're making it work so that we can create, you got it, a better tomorrow. So be sure to tune in next time for that show and when we address how to not let people treat you that way. You're going to love this one. So before I go, I'm going to give you another No Bow Tie experience in music. It is my delight to share this with you. Enjoy. Be sure to subscribe at nobowtie.com/life. Now this piece, I don't know if I've ever shared with you, but I want to play you the whole tune. A lot of times I play little snippets. I'm going to play you the whole thing. It's written by Egberto Gismonti. But filtered through No Bow Tie.